button there.
There's a button. It says live. It doesn't say and in concert.
Well, yeah, that's to be determined.
So yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see whether, in fact,
Are you actually going to be checking?
I just checked on my phone to see if we're live.
Yeah,
and we are.
We're live where, brother?
It says that I'm live right now.
Where though? I hate to do a spoiler alert, but you were alive before you clicked a button. So where are you live right now?
I don't know. I'm live on LinkedIn at least, and evidently we have 4 listeners, so we better give
that is not even true.
Something to listen to. Yeah, no, it's down to 3. It's down to 3 now.
Yeah, exactly. It's you and 2 bots. That's all this is.
Now we're back up to 4. So
even my mother wouldn't be like, I'm not showing up for that.
Folks,
you're on the interwebs.
We have no idea what we're doing. I'm going to show this thing here so that just so that anybody who comes in knows that we don't know what we're doing. This is It Ain't Easy Being a Human, which I don't know, Kristen, what's your initial thought on
I think it ain't easy doing a live show. And I think that we are proof positive that nothing here is easy. And yeah, we just love the company in this crazy convoluted space.
So evidently we there, I don't know if you can see, there's a chat, and Tamika Brown says, yeah, you are. And I wonder if she means, yeah, we're live or something else.
No, but I love it. And Tamika is now my new favorite person ever.
Me too. So it isn't easy. It ain't easy being human.
Can we start right there though? Because anybody listening to this knows I absolutely have to interrupt Aaron at all times. The word nerd in me is going to make peace with your incorrect grammar in this sentence. So, because it's shorthand. It ain't easy. It ain't easy.
If you were to take issue with it, would you be taking issue with the word ain't?
Well, sure. Theoretically, like if you're going to put up there as
ain't a word.
Well, I mean, it's not. There's all sorts of things. I mean, we haven't even gotten into swearing yet, but yeah, but if you're gonna, like, if one were to put on LinkedIn that they were a word nerd, hypothetically, yeah, I would have to at least start this by acknowledging your use of the word ain't. There's no acknowledged, stipulated, overruled,
acknowledged. In fact, I use the word ain't in sales emails.
How are your sales going?
and y'all, right? You can tell. Oh. You can tell I grew up near the Mason-Dixon line.
So first of all, y'all is intrinsically important, and we need to establish our ground rules that y'all and all y'all have to be included at all times. In fact, new rule, since we have none, new rule that we must always intersperse some type of language contractions into it. Ain't, y'all. I just made up a rule.
Okay, it's a
all in favor.
Rule. I don't know if we have any other voting parties. So,
Tamika,
if she's still here, I'm glad to have had her here for a little while. So we are exploring right now what this is. This was the idea of this, the existence of,
the impetus, if you will.
The what?
The impetus.
The impetus. Yes, the impetus for
I have my word of day calendar right here.
Yes. I just made that observation out loud to Coach Ron Tunick this morning, and he said, "Oh, you've got to do something with that."
He was a little excited about
it. And Kristen and I were starting to plan doing a podcast together, and so here we are, doing something that ain't easy being a human. If you keep your eyes on this space, we'll have guests. We'll be talking about, I imagine, the fact of this challenge.
We'll be talking. Whether anybody's talking with us remains.
We'll be talking about the fact of this challenge and how to have success and fulfillment and gratification and fun. Anyway, Tamika's cooking.
Tamika is my new co-host when I get tired of you. Side note. So you know what we should do? We should.
Tamika, I think you're up.
Yeah, I like you already, lady. Why don't we actually introduce ourselves and use things like, I don't know, names?
Great. Yes. I see that we don't have names. I thought we had names on the screen, but they seem to have gone away. So
Ooh.
I am Aaron Schmuckler, and I'm a co-founder of a company called the Yes Works, where we work with companies to craft, to engineer a culture where life is going to be a little bit less difficult. Kristen, bet to you.
Thank you, Aaron. I am Kristen Graham, and I am a very happy entrepreneur after 20 years in corporate. Did all the Gen Z things, grabbed all the brass rings, and was like, you know what? It's not easy, even when you do all the things you're supposed to do. So why don't I just do the things that I want to do? And I want you all to know I am trying so hard not to swear on the off.
I wonder if you should be trying, or if you should just let
Don't
them
worry,
let her rip.
I rarely limit myself. That was just more the first 5 minutes and 50 seconds into the conversation. I'll stop being behaved here right quick. But Aaron, why is it not easy being human for you?
Oh man. So I mean, it's been a rough week in the life of Aaron, and a couple of pieces of that, are I love my wife, and I've been saying, and it still is true through all this COVID thing. I feel incredibly fortunate that I like my family and my wife included as much as I love them, because what a blessing that is.
Agreed.
Liking and loving my wife does not make marriage necessarily easy. And we're just having one of those challenging moments. I have chronic migraines, and they've been particularly bad this week, and my brain has been foggy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Coach was telling me about some health challenge that he had suddenly faced. And I just said, Coach,
It ain't
it
easy.
ain't easy being a human. And so here we are.
That is a true story. That is a true story. And Tamika, tell us in chat, just because I love paying attention to her since she's my.
Tamika has told me to meet my wife where she's at, and
Oh yeah. Oh, we're
wiser
solving all the
words
things. We're
I
solving
have
all the
never
things
read.
for you. I just want to make sure that we're saying your name right. So if we're not, please keep us honest on that. And
Yeah.
also equally important, what are you cooking? Because for people who can't see our chat, she says that she's cooking and laughing. So there's that. But back to you, brother. I want to acknowledge the fact that hey, you were just super vulnerable there. And I think that that's part of what being a human is. If the last year and a half has taught us anything, it's the fact that none of this is easy, no matter where you are, no matter what's happening. And so there is a ton there that I just want to acknowledge and honor in what you said. And so, and I'm coming in hot too. I'm a single mom of 2 teenage boys. So running this entrepreneurial life, doing all the things. And yeah, I think if I were to add a comma to the first part of it ain't easy being human, it's, and of course I would because I'm a word nerd. It's that there are the times though when it becomes worth it. Doesn't ever negate the effort, man, but it's just like those, and maybe the humanity, the connection that has come forward in these last couple of years has been even more critical because we have a different level of appreciation for it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, life is hard, but it is good stuff. I really like it. It's not always easy. It's not always fun, although I try to make it fun. But I am for it.
Yeah, well,
I am without any political implications. I am pro.
Okay, I was like, please.
I'll just stop with that word.
Yeah, stop, because there's like a whole Supreme Court other thing. Yep. Yeah. So let's just kind of keep this on. So let's go back to, why are we having this conversation about it ain't easy being a human? And let's talk about that. And why should anybody care to listen to us?
I don't know yet why they should care to listen to us. But here's what I hope we will be doing with this platform that we are in the very, very beginning throes of creating, Kristen, is that I hope that we can share compassion with people, which all by itself, I think, makes it easier. I hope that we can share tools and strategies for coping with the challenge, for making it easy, for finding success, fulfillment, gratification, and fun even in the face of how hard it is.
Oh my God.
And
If I got 50% of one of those things, I'd be happy.
that's a tall order, right? So we're
Yeah.
going to need some help. We're
Yeah.
going to need
And a
guests.
chocolate milkshake. Like seriously, with your headphones on, I feel like, yeah, did you just put in an order for all of that? Supersize me, Aaron.
Supersize you.
Well, you
All
said
right.
6
Yeah.
cents. I'm writing this shit
Here's
down.
a big helping of but we'll make it better coming your way. I can see we have a time delay because at least just now on my screen, Tamika's message, haha, fish, rice, fly. Oh man, I want some
I know,
fried
right? Like all of a
plantains,
sudden I'm hungry.
and
Um,
we'll find something green. Mm. You know what I like? I like to saute up a little spinach and garlic and
hey,
salt.
you know what, kitten? This isn't a cooking show.
Why not?
So leave it to Tamika. Nobody is
Eating
going to
well
throw in
is
for a
hard.
cooking show. Like,
You're the
okay,
one who asked Tamika what she was cooking.
yeah, her, not you. We didn't care about you sauteing some stuff. So, well, so if anybody's like, why are these two talking to each other? Good question. And I think there's been a lot that we have intersected on when it comes to work. You and I do a lot of, consulting and strategy with companies who are trying to do healthy cultures. And so we got ourselves all wrapped up and we've been on Clubhouse and we've nerded out hardcore in a lot of forums. But I think a lot of the fun, Aaron, is the conversations we have offline, right?
Yes.
The stuff
Yeah. If you
and
think we're having fun now, folks,
yeah,
you ought to see us when we're just on the phone.
right.
Tamika said that we should show ourselves some grace, as she's throwing that into the soup of stuff that I named, I think. And I know it's not a cooking show, but I'm still gonna let Tamika throw that into the soup.
As she should.
Grace,
I feel
love
like
it.
we were clear that she gets to say whatever she wants, and you need to stay on track. I think the one
I do
not
not
clear
like that
here
rule.
is you. Just to give some, radical candor back your way. So, given all of the intersections between all of our different clients and the companies that we've worked for and with, we've always had this conversation around what is healthy, what is productive as it comes to engagement and culture and communications and productivity. I think what's interesting about this conversation is we're taking the lid off of your soup. Let me just give you some. Clearly, Aaron hasn't had a snack, and put that huge ampersand in between. You can have all those conversations, but then if you get home or offline, off work, and you're not experiencing that same synchronicity or that harmony in your daily life, then it ain't easy being human. And because you can succeed in one area. So I was just talking to my boyfriend recently about the yin and the yang, right? Of the you can over-index and do a ton into the professional space and get your accolades and your awards and your fulfillment and your success there. But then if you click that off button, whatever it is, and then your life is just kind of an echoey, hollow sound, then there's something to each side of being the human. We weren't designed to just work.
So I think that's just so profound. Pain is a part of the human condition. Sometimes when my work life is going great, my home life becomes a little painful.
Sure.
Sometimes when my home life is going great, my work life becomes a little painful. And sometimes, they're both chugging along in harmony and everything's great. And then you hit kind of a brick wall, maybe in both arenas.
For sure.
So I'm looking forward to having guests on who can share strategies for Dr. K. I know I mentioned her to you before we got on this. She's wonderful and coaches high performing people. And I look forward to having her on to talk about resistance. Because she is a big fan of digging into resistance, and she might object to how I characterize that. But that's one of the fun things about talking to Dr. K is you'll say X, Y, and she'll say, I invite you to consider X, Y prime. And so we're going to have fun with that.
Very much so. I love that. I mean, obviously we can admire our own opinions all day long because Lord knows we do frequently. I love, and your point about resistance, I think it's really the art of inclusion, because if you are confident enough to invite other people into the conversation, everybody wins. because there's
Mm.
so many different components to that. And so I think that resistant makes us better. The grit is the down payment for the reward. So getting that amplification through different opinions and the rest of it, that's juice.
So, one of the things that you were just, uh, what you were just saying made me think of communication, which I know is your jam,
Love it.
right?
Love it.
What?
I was just loving it. I was plus
Yeah.
oneing verbally. Plus one.
And if there is anything, I think it could be argued, and I think it could be argued pretty strongly that if there's anything that can make it easier to be a human, it's to upgrade communication. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think that you're just putting a big dose of extra fry sauce on my side of the fence. I heart emoji that conversation because, well, so I was telling you and coach that I was teaching 2 weeks ago at the University of Washington's MBA and second year MBA school. And one of the slides I put up there was from Warren Buffett, known for all of his investments and financials and math. And his quote was, the single best thing you can do to improve your net value of anything is to improve your own communications. And it has nothing to do with investment strategies and modeling. It's all around, and I've said this many times, but I'll say it again here. Our reputation gets in the room before we do. And so investing in that, do you want me to pause or jot that? But it's
Yeah,
so
I don't have to
true.
jot it down, but I do want to let it simmer in my brain for a minute.
Let's marinate. Let's marinate like Tamika soup.
Yeah,
But
and your jam and simmer, right? I mean, this
you
this
really
is a
need to have.
cooking show. You thought it was not a
It is
cooking
not.
show.
I'm
It's
going to
yes, it
send
is.
you. I'm click. I'm sending you some protein drinks for our next show because I'm going to need you to like power up. But let's go back to communication for a second because your reputation gets in the room before you do, for sure. That's
Okay.
at work. That's elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the other part to that's equally important. It's how you earn trust in our relationships, in our professional life, in our referrals. And we don't necessarily earn it by being overly polished. How you started this and being open and honest with what's going on. I can't think of a single person who's come unscathed over this last 18 months. So why can't we lead with that conversation? I don't want to talk to the people who have it all figured out. BT dubs. I haven't seen their bestsellers on Amazon because who's living the post-pandemic best life? I want to hear from the people who are in the active verb of figuring out. Like, let's do that. Let's fingerprint together. I don't want to see you in your Instagram worthy life, like #blessed. Good on you. I'm #messed. Let's have that conversation.
#messed. like I'm messed up. Like this is
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I was. My brain just had a thought and then it dropped it.
Protein shakes, my good friend. So with knowing that we're launching this intentionally messy, which I think is going to be the beauty of it. Nerds welcome, perfectionists need not apply because we do that enough to ourselves. But this conversation, the space that I see you and I holding on both sides of life being messy is for exactly that. What's worked, what's not working, where can we amplify? Where can there be reciprocity? And where can there just be good old-fashioned support?
Mm-hmm.
With occasional snacks, because apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, one of the Tamika just said something about appreciating your vulnerability, Kristen. And what a challenge vulnerability is for people. It is. I know it is for me, particularly in different settings. It can be really challenging around particular subjects. It can be really challenging.
Sure.
And I think there's the fiction, the really easy to believe falsehood that my life is going to be easier if I withhold that vulnerability. And we make it hard withholding that vulnerability. It's certainly something that I'm having to learn again and again and again.
That's so interesting though, because I feel like we've been socially conditioned to be all about resumes and social media and accolades and only show the best, right? There's this great Liz and Molly does these phenomenal cartoons. And it's like, here's my entire life and here's what I post on social media. And because it
Yeah.
is. But,
Yeah, the Venn diagram. Yeah.
but you know, and you and I are Gen Xers, right? We were, well, I don't know how old you are.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. But you know, it's kind of that conditioning of just put it all out there. But then always be editing. And I think the real benefit in life is when you find that connection, when you see somebody else. Well, two things. When you see somebody and you're like, you get that spark, that connection, that familiarity, that recognition of like, oh, it's not just me. And then I think there's something profound about being seen.
Yeah. Right. And we can struggle so hard against
Totally.
being seen.
Totally. But I think it's Ellen DeGeneres who has a great quote. And she said, to be loved is great, but to be understood is profound.
Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
And we're trying to get our like emojis and our heart double clicks. And really, and this is what led you and I to entrepreneurial life. It's like, let's do fewer things better. Let's just go deeper and be who we are exactly as we are. Well, as Tamika said about your wife, you know, meet her where she's at. And I think that there's something to, what if we all did that? What if it ain't easy being a human is about come as you are. Add to cart.
Add to cart.
Add to cart. I'll take more of that. I'll go to Costco.
I'll just buy now, right?
Ooh, look at you. Single click.
All together.
Mr. Marketing Guy. But I get excited about those conversations that we can have because we aren't coming with bulleted lists of solutions. Erin and I are just holding space and holding grace to what Tamika said.
So we've still got a few people who maybe actually are listening to us. And here's my question for you folks. If we're gonna, and we are, continue to have this conversation about it ain't easy being human, intending to give you and us tools for making it easier, tools for reaching success, fulfillment, gratification, fun, grace, anyway, who would you want us to be talking with? Who should we have on as a guest? Who volunteer or suggest some names in the comments. If you're watching us live or if you're watching us later, we'll find those comments. We'd love to have your suggestions about who should be a guest on this show.
And in addition to that, because good people know good people, right? So we love the amplification and the referrals. We're always going to come at it trying to be as live and inclusive and unscripted too, so that it becomes a community conversation for whoever wants to show up in that moment, regardless of who we're talking to at that element, and being able to add their components to it too. So this will be a tapestry, a conversational tapestry, where there is room for all sorts of us. Oh, Tamika's going straight to Adam Grant. Like, I love it.
Right on. Yeah. I mean, why not? Adam Grant. Gotta love it.
And yes, that's it's all happening.
So we have a very, very rudimentary website up that has, if you've been around with us since the beginning, you know that the whole impetus for this It Ain't Easy Being a Human show came just this morning. So of course the website and the logo are still ad hoc.
In development. In
development. But you might want to bookmark itainteasybeingAhuman.com because it's there for what it is.
Right. And that's the best part of what we're offering is this component in this space, so that the conversations continue, whether or not anything gets solved or resolved. It's more about the art of the conversation and the space. So what do you want to close with as we're enticing people back to find us on the interwebs?
Yeah, well, we've asked about guests, and I'll add one more ask. What topics, what questions can we answer? Better than topics are questions. What questions do you want answered? What and Kristen and I may read your questions. What's that, Kristen?
Oh, I was just making sure into the microphone to say no more cooking.
What questions do you want answered? And if we can't answer the question, we'll see if we can find people who can. So there's my closer, Kristen. Do you have anything further that you want to say before we hit the end stream button on this here software I've never used before?
Before anybody shuts us down, like in Russia. No, I think what else I would say, because you said what questions would you like answered? So knowing full well that I intend to have only sarcastic comments and no answers. That's my contribution to this. I think it's also, what are the topics that could be explored?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whether answers come out of it, I think that's a gift with purchase if we get there. But I think the components of, what are the conversations that you either aren't having or you want to go deeper and broader on in different areas of why it's not easy being a human?
When I coach executives, that question that you just asked, what are the conversations that you're not having, is one of the ones that bears some of the greatest fruit. So I look forward to digging into that.
I love it. Hey, thanks for letting me be part of this conversational cocktail party.
Well, thanks for joining me on this conversational cocktail party. Tamika, thank you so much for joining us for this conversational cocktail party. The rest of you, whoever you are, we're glad that whatever we're doing has been intriguing enough to capture your attention.
Entertaining / something for you to judge silently on the other side.
Moving past plateaus, says Tamika. Yeah, right. Plateaus.
Deep.
I read that and I hear blind spots, which are great source of pain.
He's already saw it. We're coming for you, Tamika, because you're gonna be on one of our future shows. So, Aaron, thanks again. I love the idea that came out of a conversation that sparked this conversation and more. Mm-hmm. And that is, I think, it's a special sauce.
It is. Yeah. You want it not to be a cooking show.
I know, but
you keep bringing it back. All right, folks.
Thank you, friends.
I am going to click that little button up in the top right corner of my screen that says end stream. And
you can find us on LinkedIn, find us in all the places, and find us at itain'teasybeingAhuman.com.
Yeah. And Kristen, if you send me your photo and your bio, then I'll put up our photos and bios on
look at that.
On the website.
To hang out with our
on the ugly the ugly website.
Okay. I'm really glad you finished that sentence.
I had no idea that you might your mind might be taking it somewhere else.
Aaron, push the button in the show.
Okay, here it goes.
Bye-bye.